Let them eat cake.
He took the bomb.
We're getting screwed, man. Every time we turn around, we're getting screwed. Oh, the revolution's going to be through podcasting for sure. That's the only way we talk. It's the little guys that take the brunt of everything. It's got to stop. Peasants, man. We're just peasants. Every one of us. You watch those old movies, you see the peasants in the background with the kings and queens walking around. We're those people. We're those people.
Good morning, peasants. Welcome to another episode of The Peasant's Perspective. We're so glad to be here. We had to redo a pathway to save the show so we could upload an audio later. Anyways, glad you made it. Glad you guys stuck around for a couple minutes while we had technical difficulties. We were really ready to hit play right at 6:30.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was like, not enough storage space to save the show. All right, Frazier, wonderful morning in Boise, Idaho. Yes, I know everybody's jealous of you living in Boise, Idaho. Pony Boy, good morning. I hope you're having fun going from oil well to oil well this morning. John Atakis, good morning. Stocks did well yesterday, late afternoon. Yeah, and Bitcoin is skyrocketing this morning, and even silver's up, which, if you know me, that means all my accounts are up. Yay! Yeah, Bitcoin went up almost $4,000 yesterday.
So I bought diesel for my tractor yesterday. Was that the wrong buy? Should I wait it a day?
You went and stockpiled diesel right when it was at $7. Yeah, oil came down 21% yesterday in the late afternoon trading. Exactly.
Dang it.
Space Race Player One is present in Carlitos. That's awesome. I got duped by a video of the backside of the moon. Do you believe that?
Yes.
Video, I was going around the internet. This is Artemis 2. It's a beautiful video. And I watched it. And the community notes popped up this morning. It was like, this is not the backside of the moon. This was taken by a satellite. This is not the Artemis mission. I was like, oh, man. All right, guys. I know why you guys all rush in line to get here right on time. It's because you want to join us for the simultaneous sip. Now, today, during the simultaneous sip, when it's time to take it, we are going to listen to a video and watch a video of Lindsey Graham, who's big upset about the ceasefire. So we'll be talking about that. All right. All you need for the simultaneous sip is a cup or a mug or a glass, a tankard, a chalice, a stein, a canteen, jug or flask, a vessel of any kind. Fill it with your favorite liquid. I like coffee this morning. And join me now for the unparalleled pleasure of the dopamine hit of the day, the thing that makes everything better, the simultaneous sip as we listen to Lindsey Graham.
Damn it. I couldn't even get my sip down.
The audio might not have been great. Sometimes the audio for sounds like that, but for the audio listeners that listen after we broadcast, it was a pig being pet. It was big bad. Anyways, okay, so yesterday we were on the brink of a civilization being destroyed, and I firmly believe that it would have been destroyed yesterday. I think Donald Trump absolutely pushed Iran up against the ropes. I think that it's the art of the deal, and I think 100% he planned on bombing Iran. He was not going to back down. But word came through, Pakistani negotiators, the Iranian negotiators, they all came through and they begged for a ceasefire, and they got it from the United States.
You know, that's so great that this has happened this way, because yesterday the last thing I saw before I went out to work in the garden was the people that were working for Iran, were just like bounced, and they're like, there's no more negotiations. I was like, oh my gosh. And I told my wife, and then we had a little talk about it in the garden while we were planting dahlias, and we both decided we needed to pray really hard. Just like, damn it, we just don't want this to go this way, please. We were like, we got to pray for the Iranian people, because the people are just going to get hosed in this whole deal. And the people, what are they going to do? Take back the country from these, retarded IRGC people that have no love for their people. It's like, and so instead of going and buying a wallet and getting Bitcoin, we were praying for the Iranians. It's like,
the high cost of your prayers, Ron. The high cost of your prayers. So the interesting thing about that, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Iranian people because there's mixed reviews. Some of the Iranian people are kind of upset that it didn't happen because the regime is still in power. Now it's a question of what's the regime going to do. So we're going to kind of talk a little bit about that because there's more implications for the Iranians than there are for us.
Yeah.
So Donald Trump posted this yesterday. Based on conversations with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Field Marshal Asim Munir of Pakistan, and wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran, the subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran, and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to a complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz. So this is going to be really easy. Our boat's going to go through it today, right? This is an immediate opening. I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. The planes had taken off. The bombers had taken off. They had taken off from the airfields. And when they took off, the calculation is they were going to arrive in the airspace of Iran at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So they were loaded, locked, and ready to go. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. So it's both directions. The reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the United States and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. On behalf of the United States of America, as president and also representing the countries of the Middle East, it is an honor to have this long-term problem close to a resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So oil went ahead and dropped 21% in like a matter of minutes. Anna Paulina Luna said this: I just spoke with the president and would like to publicly congratulate him on this. Some of my not-so-smart Democrat colleagues will soon be forced to issue public statements of support when they understand the terms of what the agreement is. To be clear, President Trump has been consistent and precise in his messaging from the beginning. Only weeks ago, Iran was viewed as an existential threat to the U.S. and most of Europe. NATO exposed who they really are. Many people got exposed. Those who try to use this to sow division or to straight up lie have also outed themselves. To be clear from the beginning, this was about saving American lives. President Trump has truly accomplished something that no other POTUS could have pulled off. Peace will ultimately prevail. So yeah, that's great. Carlite says, we're looking at the moon right now, but we don't see Artemis orbiting. It's already on its way back, bro. Mary Goulet, good morning on YouTube. Glad to have you. Maraizo, good morning, Taylor and Marie and Ron. Thank you so much. Marie's my wife. She's oftentimes sitting here in studio with us.
The post I really liked about Artemis so far, the best one so far, I think, is it shows a picture of the moon that you can see from outside, and then it shows a picture of the moon that you can see from Artemis, and it's about the size of a pinhead.
From Artemis?
Yes. I was like, what the hell? You people are so dumb.
That's why I don't understand. Like, is it just
like if you look outside right now, how big is the moon?
It's huge, yeah.
Yeah. So the picture they were showing from Artemis, it was about this big.
It was like, but you're closer to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what the heck?
These people think we're retarded. All right. This is Lindsey Graham. I just had a conversation with POTUS and totally support his ultimatum to the Iranian regime to open the Strait of Hormuz and to do a peace deal. A massive military operation awaits Iran if they choose poorly. I don't get my boots on the ground. Oh my gosh. You know, for a guy who's got no kids, he sure has a lot in the fight. This guy has made so much money off of the Ukraine conflict, it'd make your head spin. This regime has been severely crippled through Operation Epic Fury. The reign of terror against the region and the world needs to come to an end, hopefully through a peace deal. After speaking with President Trump this morning, I'm completely convinced that he will use overwhelming military force against the regime if they continue to impede the Strait of Hormuz and refuse a diplomatic solution to achieve our military objectives. If it's not clear to Iran and others by now that President Trump means what he says, then I don't know when it will ever be. Choose wisely. And this was re-truthed by Donald Trump. So they're in agreement on that. Okay. So after the ceasefire was announced last night, I saw this come across and I was like, oh, geez, what a mess.
Mike, what are we seeing there?
Well, Jesse, as anticipated, the sirens are now wailing over Tel Aviv, indicating that another missile is inbound. And it looks like those bright lights in the sky are the missiles. And it looks like you can see an interceptor that is in hot pursuit of the missiles. And it's always quite dramatic when you see those interceptors going after it. And these.
Okay, so we don't need to watch it to the end. The interceptor does eventually catch the missile, you guys.
Yeah.
But Iran continued to shoot missiles at Israel last night. Oh, no, the ceasefire's already been broken. Now, a couple things. The way they decentralized their command and control structure. As a direct result of the Iraq war that we had with Iraq, we destroyed Baghdad's central command in like hours. And so then the commanders out and about didn't know if they had permission to shoot or not.
Right. So they were running around with walkie-talkies and donkeys trying to get orders out.
Yes. And so Iran's basically delegated power to attack to all the different generals out in the little regions. And so if the main guy gets taken out, all the generals can proceed with whatever they want to do. They have full command and control. So at one moment we thought, oh, geez, you know, the guys who brokered the peace deal don't actually have control over the military. Nope, that's not the case. Now, big picture, folks, you've got to pay attention to this. There's a difference between MAGA and America First. MAGA is whatever Trump's agenda is. Okay. America First is this little niche group led by Nick Fuentes, seconded by Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and a handful of others. They're generally anti-Semitic. They generally believe Israel walks the dog and is Trump's master. They generally believe like all that stuff. Okay. They want no more foreign engagements. We want all of the attention at home. These are the kind of people that become so anti-war that they won't defend themselves.
Right. They bring
and then the war
home.
breaks out regardless of you being anti-war. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You become the very thing you hate and you inspire more war because of your so anti-war mentality. Okay. So that's what they are. This group of people, right, thinks that Israel and America's doing Israel's work. The ceasefire is between Iran and the United States, not between Iran and Israel. So Israel continued to get bombed. Oh, but I thought we were doing Israel's bidding. Israel kept fighting yesterday. Okay. So they kept getting bombed yesterday. And do you hear the president being big mad about that?
Nope.
No. He cut Israel loose. Imagine being these people. Okay. Imagine destroying your reputation. This is posted by JTC53. Imagine destroying your reputation, credibility, and self-respect in defense of Iran regime over America and Trump. Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Alex Jones, Robert Barnes, all went absolutely ballistic. Nuclear war. Matt Barnes and Alex Jones were talking about 25th Amendmenting Donald Trump and impeaching him and tackling him and putting J.D. Vance in charge and letting him bloviate and pretend like these guys went crazy.
Yeah, they sure
and at
did.
the end of the day, and Joe can't resign. And at the end of the day, Israel was still getting bombed yesterday. And guess what? America's not going to do nothing about it because we are not Israel's bitch. Israel is our bitch. Okay? That's the truth of the matter. That is like, boo. I mean, holy cow. These people blew up their credibility, right? They became the very thing they hate. They became the kind of people that would let the Iranian regime foment and do whatever just because they didn't want to put boots on the ground or we're anti-war. We don't want to do nation building. Well, guess what? In one day, right? We've had this going on for a month and a half. And all of a sudden in one day, things are really looking up. So here is Fox
supplies.
News reporting on another post that Donald Trump put out with regards to the peace deal and the path forward.
United States of America will be helping with the traffic buildup in the Strait of Hormuz. There will be lots of positive action. Big money will be made. Iran can start the reconstruction process. We'll be loading up with supplies of all kinds and just hanging around in order to make sure that everything goes well. You know,
Donald Trump's giving me whiplash. So what's hilarious is people did a whole bunch of like people with TDS. Donald Trump's going to go to war. He's going to get us into World War III, blah, blah, blah. And then it's like he called off the ceasefire. And then they're like, Taco Tuesday. Trump always caves in. You know? It's like these people can't listen. You can't take the win. Trump was yesterday. It'll be the end of a civilization. It'll be too bad today. We're going to be making a bunch of money. You can start rebuilding. Like, this man operates at light speed. He's resolving geopolitical conflicts at light speed. Did I? Let's see. You know, I'm watching the markets here. Oh, it's still going up. It's like, dude, oil drops 20%. I can't wait for the gas prices to finally come down. Holy smokes! I wore my "Make America Great Again" hat again today because truly this is one of those moments. And we said this yesterday. We're either going to wake up today to a new world with Iran bombed to oblivion and 100 million people left in the dark, or we're going to wake up with a new light and the Strait of Hormuz open, and all of a sudden America has positioned herself like we dealt with Venezuela, we dealt with Iran. Guess what? In the next, I predict 2 weeks, Cuba is going to have some massive liberalization.
I'm way happier
campaign.
with the stories we're going to be covering. Let's put it that way.
I hope so. I hope so.
Well, I'm glad that we're not covering, well, that city's bombed to oblivion. Well, that city's bombed to oblivion.
Yeah.
What's the death
toll
count?
rising to
What's the
50
death
billion.
count so far? Oh, great. These numbers are looking up.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
The United States will work closely with Iran, which we have determined has gone through what will be a very productive regime change. Oh, that's convenient. There will be no enrichment of uranium, and the United States will be working with Iran to dig up and remove all of the deeply buried B-2 bombers' nuclear dust. It is now and has been under a very exacting satellite surveillance. Space Force. Nothing has been touched from the date of attack. We are and will be talking tariff and sanctions relief with Iran. Hot diggity dog. So you've already added a bunch of countries that were not in our trade hemisphere. He added, was it Indonesia? He added almost 1 billion people to the United States potential list of customers through some of the trade deals that he did, right? People that had trade tariffs and regulations where we couldn't sell cars, couldn't do all that stuff. And all of a sudden now we're selling Chevys in Thailand again and selling Chevys in Indonesia. And now you're talking about reducing tariffs with Iran. That's 92 more million people on the customer list. Woo. Wow. We'll be talking tariff and sanction relief with Iran. Many of the 15 points have already been agreed to. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And then Donald Trump put this out. Again, big stuff. A country supplying military weapons to Iran, which country?
China.
Bingo! Will be immediately tariffed on any and all goods sold to the United States of America, 50% effective immediately.
Dang.
There will be no exclusions or exemptions. So this is clearly Iran and Russia. Russia doesn't sell us anything. So they don't, whatever, you sanctioned us a long time ago, right? But China, this is a big deal for them, is no more military equipment flowing into Iran. You watch, Iran's going to be buying American goods because they're clearly superior. Now,
Well, we're already going to be hanging out with all the supplies.
well, they want their military to be interoperable with
I know,
Afghanistan's,
I'm just making a
who is completely an American military. You know what I mean? Like, okay, Pony Boy says this war definitely showed a lot of people's true colors. I've never seen Americans root for the enemy to spite a president. I'm sure half of the bot accounts, but not all. Yeah, I talked to my wife quite a bit about this. I'm like, it's the problem with Marjorie Taylor Greene and Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson is you have this huge support group that's MAGA, and then you might have an opinion, right? It differs from the president, but you don't cage it right or whatever. And what happens is you catch this new audience as you lose your old audience. And that's exactly what I think happened. Marjorie Taylor Greene was MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. I'm carrying Trump on my back. And then all of a sudden Trump gets in and he spites her on some deal going to Georgia, and she gets upset and she gets a new audience. Some of the TDS people are like, oh, Marjorie, like they give her safe quarter. So as she loses 10,000 people, she gains 10,000 people of this new audience that then reinforces the kooky.
Or 100,000 or 1 million.
Yeah, and those 10,000 have a bot farm behind them, right? And so it changes their trajectory, and then they drink their own Kool-Aid, right? I think that really is what happened. There's like these old videos of Nick Fuentes back when he was still on YouTube and wasn't like censored and banned, and he was reasonable, right? And then one day he had this opinion, about getting married in a nuclear family. And next thing you know, he's getting censored on YouTube, and he ends up finding himself broadcasting on BitChute and Rumble when it was in the beginning. And so he created this little niche audience of far-right, alt-right people that had been censored and banned elsewhere. And then he just kind of ate into it to where literally, like, if Nick Fuentes went to prison, he'd have 11 Nazi tattoos by tomorrow afternoon. You know what I mean? He's completely gone like white supremacy with a suit is basically what he's become. Okay, so not Pony Boy. Naya Berg, this is someone who's been posting from inside Iran and reposting stuff. This is something that they posted yesterday. She said, Tehran is no longer beautiful. Don't leave us alone with these savages. You made them even more savage, so do not leave us alone with them. You created the conditions that allowed them to arm thousands of like-minded forces and deploy them in the streets, so do not abandon us to them. At 4 a.m., I woke up to the sound of victory march blasting from Mazada pickup truck with loudspeakers mounted on the back. Behind it were dozens of armed motorcyclists chanting, Haidar, Haidar. They were shouting that they had imposed the terms on the great Satan, America, at 4 a.m. Can you believe it? It does not even matter to them. At 4 a.m. is when people are asleep in their homes. Our lives have fallen into the hands of a group of savage men who do not care at all about ordinary people's lives. A tribe from the Stone Age has arrived. The same people who killed more than 45,000 just 2 months ago, they have also armed thousands of their own supporters who like them and have taken over the streets of Tehran. Last night, Tehran was almost emptied out, and now these savages have occupied it. There's nothing left now of that beautiful Tehran. We could endure the power cuts, but not these savages. Don't leave us alone with them. So we'll see. And that is the fear. Now, yesterday...
Kind of reminds you of some scripture, that talks about the hearts of men in the last days.
Yeah. Yep. Fail them.
Bummer.
So one of the things that was happening yesterday was in Iran was they were sending out women and children to go stand around the power plants.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. To form a shield around the power plants.
That's one of the parts that I was talking to my wife about. And that's when we were like, we need to pray for these people.
Yeah. And out in the streets or out on the bridges too. This was elementary school children that were, and other women, out on the bridges.
This reminds me of schools around here that have, the kids, like decide, really,
we're going to go on a
organically, we're going to go out and protest.
We're going to go on a pride march before we've even hit puberty and anybody has explained sex to us.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Because my son one time was like, I like the color. My favorite color is the rainbow. And I'm like, you're 4. That can be your favorite color because you don't want to pick one.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm like, that doesn't mean we're going to a pride march, son.
Right.
Now his favorite color is green. He said,
well, also, when you're a kid, your favorite color is supposed to be the rainbow. And these assholes just co-opted it.
When I was a kid, the rainbow meant the promise of Noah never to destroy the flood again.
It still means that, Taylor.
Yeah, the sign of the bow. All right. So, I guess that's why the gays adopted it, because God will never destroy the earth because of our wickedness. Okay.
That's right.
Okay. So this is Mario Nawfal. He broadcasts from the UAE, if I'm not mistaken. So he's a Middle Eastern broadcasts in English. And he had on an Iranian. She's an Iranian actress. And she was talking about what exactly that whole thing with people coming out to the bridges and the power plants was.
Do you still speak to people in Iran now? How's life like there now? I was speaking to a journalist that was there a week ago. I shouldn't forget, Dimitri. He was there a week ago doing a tour of Iran. He's very critical of the US government and sympathetic to the Iranian regime. But he did a tour. He told me about the destruction. Can you tell me the state of things in Iran, the Iranians you speak to, not only the ones you speak to, just a general consensus? Because we are hearing a lot about Iranians rallying behind the flag because they hate the regime. But when you have another country bombing them and threatening to bomb the schools, not the schools, bombing a school, but threatening to bomb the bridges, bomb the country back to the Stone Ages, that turns people that are even critical of the regime, that type of rhetoric, turns them to support the regime against a common enemy.
Yeah. Okay. So there are a few things happening in Iran right now. Under internet blackout, or the fact that if they even can get access to any SIM card or buy internet, it's super expensive, so they can't do it. But there's one thing is still working. In their phone, they get messages. They get messages from the government. If you don't come and support on the rally of so-and-so date, you're going to be arrested. If you don't come to the masjid, which is these are the messages. So they don't have internal internet or access to anything. They cannot call outside. We cannot call them. There is no internet, but there are messages coming to them saying that you have to join the rally. We get you money. We give you money. We give you this. We give you that. And even tonight, I think a few hours ago, the state TV, they announced that children moms and dad, brings your kids, bring the whole family, and stay in front of the areas that the Trump has said, I'm going to bomb them. Okay. And the rallies that you're talking about, the videos you're talking about, imagine you're going to keep the country under internet blackout. You have to create a fear by Iraqis, Houthis, Indians going there and shouting and screaming and creating a fear and, singing Arabic songs and creating this environment, which is so fearful, and showing that online, saying that, see, we have so much of supporters, and keeping the other millions of people quiet. Obviously, that number is going to look massive. That number is going to look like, oh, everyone is supporting the Iranian regime. Because if they are winning, if they have so much of supporter, why the internet blackout? And by the way, last night I had in that debate, the mullah, the Indian mullah who was on the debate, I asked him the same thing. I said, okay, fine, I agree with you. I agree with you that Iranians, everyone in Iran, millions of Iranians, they support the regime. Can you please open the internet? Because I want to talk to all of them. As an Iranian, I want to say, guys, like, what's going on? You went to the street in January, millions were killed, and now everyone is supporting the Iranian regime. And another interesting fact is the PR and the propaganda which online is happening. The videos are coming out. If you just look closely, if you in a frame, if you're seeing like 20 people or 30 people, from that 30, 20 people, 28 or 27 of them Iraqi and Afghanis. They're not even Iranian.
Yeah, they're Arab. So that's a good take, right? I mean, the people don't support this. I agree. They probably aren't super excited to see the regime still, quote unquote, in power, but it's not the same regime that was a month ago.
Well, and also people didn't organically just show up to where the bomb sites are. Okay.
Yeah, that don't have internet. Exactly. Because they're following so closely Trump's truth social.
Well, also they're just, so prideful for their nation. They got to get in front of these bombs.
Yeah. Now, Iran is really good at psyops, and something happened yesterday. CNN put out a statement.
America could.
This was CNN International put out a statement basically saying that the U.S. caved to Iran's 10-point deal and then put the 10 points and whatever. So Trump said this: the alleged statement put out by CNN World News is a fraud. As CNN well knows, the false statement was linked to a fake news site from Nigeria, one of these bot accounts, and of course, immediately picked up by CNN and blared out as a legitimate headline. The official statement by Iran was just released and posted on Truth below. Authorities are looking to determine whether or not a crime was committed on the issuance of a fake CNN World statement, or was it a sick rogue player? CNN is being ordered to immediately withdraw the statement with full apologies for their, as usual, terrible reporting. Results of the investigation will be announced in the near future. President Donald J. Trump. Somebody got a bogus Nigerian account statement, ran it as world news, which then set off a firestorm of haters and naysayers around the world thinking that America had capitulated and always capitulated. Trump was on Sky News being asked about this, and they kind of ran with this narrative.
Any of these points that you're talking about in the 10-point plan, how are any of them proposals that America could ever agree to? And he was a bit pointed at this point. He said, you don't know what the points are. I know what they are.
And so the 10 points were never, ever released publicly. It's between the negotiators. But yet CNN World News put out the 10 points, and it looks like we basically gave him the kitchen sink, which I didn't have time to grab the 10 points. Otherwise, we'd read them. But you get the point here, right?
There was no, then he was then again flowing, no opportunity to interrupt. So there was no opportunity for me to say, well, the Iranians have kind of published the points. And he then said, this is really intriguing, Martha. He then said, they're very good points, and most of them have been fully negotiated. So he's disputing the Iranian position here. He's suggesting that the negotiations...
It wasn't the Iranian position. He's wasting airtime with Sky News because of a Nigerian shit poster.
Are well developed already, which is a surprise. It's very debatable whether that's true or not. And he said that they're not the maximalist demands that Iran is claiming. So really interesting.
Yeah, certainly a lot more to dig into over the next few days.
Yeah, definitely. And I should say the last thing he said, well, actually, no, it wasn't the last thing, but one of the things he said within the about a minute and a half of conversation that I got with him, he said, if it isn't good, I think he's referring there to the ceasefire and the negotiations, we'll go right back to it very easily. I took that to mean that they are prepared to return to war if things don't go the right way. So very interesting. And then he said, got to hang up now. Got to go or something. Words.
What a act of treason by CNN World News. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like the lie makes it around the world before truth puts on its pants. We don't know what the 10 points are. We don't know. What was posted came from a Nigerian idiot in a hut somewhere. He's probably out killing Christians.
This has all the hallmarks of some CIA crap.
It has all the hallmarks of just dumb.
Yeah.
Right? That to me, it's just dumb. Every time I see a post that's controversial, I check where the account is from. Thank you, Elon Musk, for giving us the ability to do that. Every time I get a new follower, I check where the account is from. And Ron, I'll be honest with you, it's not uncommon for a Nigerian to follow me that has MAGA Babe or, True Patriot MAGA as their Twitter handle. And they're from Nigeria. There's one guy that I got into because he had like 13,000 followers or something. And I'm like, you're from Nigeria. Well, I'm just, my account got hacked and it's spotted from Nigeria, but I live in America. Then hold a newspaper with today's date and a thumbs up with an American street sign in the background. Won't do it, right? But yet he's out there posting about the best. We missed Mitt Romney. He would have been the best president ever. I'm like, what are you talking about? Mitt Romney? There are no Republicans that think Mitt Romney would have been the best Republican president ever. You're from Nigeria. You're just there to sow discord. So this is the one and only official statement coming out of Iran. Tehran, April 7th, 2006. On behalf of the Islamic Republic of Iran, I express gratitude and appreciation for my dear brothers, he, Prime Minister of Pakistan Sharif, and he, Field Marshal Munir, for their tireless efforts to end the war in the region. In response to the brotherly request of PM Sharif in his tweet, and in considering the request by the U.S. for negotiations based on its 15-point proposal, as well as announcements by POTUS about acceptance of the general framework of Iran's 10-point proposal as a basis for negotiations, I hereby declare on behalf of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, if attacks against Iran are halted, our powerful armed forces will cease their defensive operations. For a period of 2 weeks, safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz will be possible via coordination with Iran's armed forces and with due considerations of technical limitations. Saeed Abbas Agharaki, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Islamic Republic of Iran.
So that also says that they're going to suspend defensive operations.
They consider everything they've been doing defensive.
Oh, I thought they thought everything was offensive.
No, they believe everything's defensive. It's always this entire little excursion to go stop the nukes for America was defensive. Hey,
I get it.
As long as you're not trying to take someone's territorial integrity, it's a defensive mission. Okay?
There's a lot of defensive shit going on.
There's a lot of defense. Yeah, exactly. Now, Russia, that's a war of aggression. They tried to take territory, right? So Ukraine is defending itself.
Right.
Okay, so General Keenan, 4-star Jack Keenan, who's wishy-washy on all of this stuff, he says, I don't know if those Ukrainians are negotiating in good faith.
General Jack Keenan's our senior strategic analyst and retired 4-star general. So what do you think went down during this deadline?
Well, listen, first of all, I appreciate President Trump and wanting to open a move, certainly, and also put together a deal with the Iranians that would give us everything. They would have to surrender everything that we would take away from them using military force. That's the essence of the deal. And the top of that list certainly is they have to give up and let us take away the nuclear enrichment that they absolutely have. And that's got to be in that deal, and it's got to be number one in the deal, because at the beginning of everything here, it was about their nuclear capability. But think about, what did the Iranians want here also? Why did they close the Straits of Hormuz? They closed the Straits of Hormuz simply to put pressure on the administration to stop the war. And we have stopped the war. So let's understand what's at play here from the Iranian perspective and also from our perspective. I don't trust the Iranians at all. The president doesn't trust them either. He's negotiated with them time and time again. He knows they're liars and cheats. So this comes down to the deal itself and what's in it and the verification for it. The Iranians are experts at obfuscating, delaying deals, and they lie and promise and don't deliver. So there's a lot wrapped up in the deal. My preference would have been to keep the war going as leverage to make that deal. But we are where we are now.
Did you hear that?
Yep.
My preference would have been to keep the war going. Warmonger. Warmonger. That's the problem with these pundits. Okay. My preference would have been that we never went and that we kept it going. And I don't know, do my friends have military contracts in it?
Bias is exposed.
And we're in a ceasefire. And it comes down to all the points in making that deal, for sure. And we'll see how that turns out.
This guy was rooting against a deal the whole time while sitting there on TV before being like, President Trump better make a deal. Otherwise, this is just going to escalate. And then once there's a deal in, he's like, I wish it would have just kept escalating and escalating for a better negotiating position. And what would that be? Did you want a mansion in Tehran for yourself? Is that what you wanted it?
It looks like the president is getting indications from the Iranians that they're willing to concede on all of those points. I don't dispute the fact that people are saying that. Whether they actually do it is another matter, and that's my concern about this. And the president and his team knows who they're dealing with. So we're going to have to hold their feet to the fire, and if this blows up in our face, we have to have the stomach to finish this militarily. And the counting on the fact, I think where they're coming from, delay, obfuscate, and the fact that the Americans have stopped and the straits are open and ships are starting to flow again, that we would not have the stomach to go back and return to military operations. That, I think, is their strategy. And we'll see if that unfolds. We'll know pretty quickly when it gets down to the actual fine points of the deal and how we verify it and the concessions they're willing to make. And we'll see what that is. But I am skeptical about where we're heading with the Iranians because I flat don't trust them. And I don't like taking the pressure off them by going to a ceasefire, which is what they wanted in any event, to force the United States to stop the war. And we have done that, admittedly only temporarily, but we got to see what's in that deal.
General, it sounds like you think the ceasefire is not going to last. And if it doesn't last and it blows up, what do you think the U.S. military posture should be?
Well, we have to finish what we started. The Israelis need about 10 days to 2 weeks. We're about the same. There's still lots of targets out there to hit in the minds of the military commanders. And I really do think if the deal blows up, it comes down to Carg Island and forcing control of Carg Island and take control of the distribution of oil or destroy it and force an economic collapse. Either you take control of Carg Island and then you have the leverage to bend them to our will and actually force them into a position that we truly want. And that sets the regime, I think, on a path to regime collapse. There's no way we can know that for sure. And we've said that from the outset.
You don't think
we can get a deal?
You don't think
we can get a deal that takes everything away that we would do militarily? That's another matter. But I'm suggesting that remains to be seen.
Okay. So we can't get a deal. These people are liars and cheats. I wanted the war to keep going. But if we can get them into a corner where then we can get a better deal, well, these guys are either going to make a deal or not going to make a deal. They're either trustworthy or they're not trustworthy. It doesn't matter how much you back them into a corner. If they're not trustworthy to make a deal, then they're never going to make a deal. Jack Keenan, what do you really want out of this thing?
Yeah,
I want them more beat up. I want more of them beat up because then they'll be more likely to make a deal, but they'll never make a deal because they're liars and cheats. Do you see in 4 minutes, this guy just went all over the board, but he sounded coherent. Fox News put him on. This guy was a freaking 4-star general.
Oh my gosh.
You can't trust him. Don't make a deal. I'm glad we made a deal, but I really wish the war would have gone on because then we could have got a better deal, but they won't ever make a deal because they're liars and cheat.
He says so many smart things and so many dumb things all at the same time.
The sentences are not coherent.
No, they're not. Who thinks that the United States government can't sign a ceasefire deal and then immediately turn it back on? Who thinks that?
And we're there in the strait, making sure ships go through. They either go through or they don't.
Right.
If you attack us, we're going to be right back at it.
Right.
Clearly. Yeah. Well, Trump knows exactly who he's dealing with, but he shouldn't have made a deal. He should have waited for a better deal, but these guys won't make deals. Jack, go home. Go take a nap. Retire. Finally retire. Let the pros do this, the ones that have coherent sentences.
For real.
Like, this is what drives me crazy. And this is one of the reasons why sometimes when I talk to people, I'm like, I don't know, the show, it's a lot of time in the morning and it's a lot.
But we got to have the stomach to finish the job, Taylor.
And I don't know if we will once the oil starts flowing again. If the oil starts flowing, they made the deal, bro. What are your objectives? They're militarily destroyed. Have we not established that? Well, there's still more targets.
I know. That was my favorite. Well, there's still plenty of targets. It's like, what? I want to blow them up so bad.
Oh my gosh. It has been, Ponyboy said it best, right? It definitely showed a lot of people's true colors. Well, it's my preference that we would have kept fighting. These guys can't be trusted to make a deal, but if we kept fighting, we could have got a deal. With the people that we can't trust ever to make a deal?
Right.
Isn't that your
it's
reason?
like he's hoping so bad that this goes sideways somehow, or we can make it go sideways somehow so that we can get boots on the ground.
They come from the school of thought that we need to do nation building in Iran. Until they capitulate 100% and we sit in their parliament, right? We do the Iraq model, then we don't win. I don't care about that. Stop the threat, stop the bully, set them back 50 years, and let's pull out. It's not our country, right? But Jack Keenan, he's a 4-star general, which meant he spent 25, 30, 40 years in the military planning on boots on the ground. And guys like Alec Jones, who've been watching the planning for boots on the ground, and attacking Iran is always bad under neocons. All of a sudden, when Trump comes in and he's MAGA, but he's got to clean up the bully in the schoolyard before we can go out and play safe, misinterprets what's happening. So all of a sudden, yesterday, Alex Jones is saying, we got a 25th Amendment Donald Trump. He's getting us into a disaster. And then today, there's probably going to be like 40 ships going through the Strait of Hormuz delivering oil. Price of gasoline and diesel is going to go down. Markets are going to skyrocket. And Alex Jones is standing there with his pee-pee in his hand going, man, I thought it was a bad thing. Bro, you don't get it. Trump's different. You think he's like every other guy. You think that just because he does one thing in the interest of Israel, it's somehow against the interests of the United States. Israel was still getting bombed last night. You know what Trump said about it? Nothing. So the entire premise, Joe Kent, of your worldview and why you resigned, irrelevant. These people showed themselves. Tucker Carlson, through this whole process, bro, don't support Islam. Don't support Islam. Don't tell me I can't criticize Islam in Houston, Texas, or in Dearborn, Michigan. Okay? Don't tell me that because, wow, a good Christian would never criticize another Christian. Have you ever heard of the Crusades? Okay.
I remember when Tucker Carlson was your spirit animal.
No, it's Steve Bannon was my spirit animal.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Steve Bannon was my spirit animal. Tucker and I have always had conflict. I mean, not that Tucker's aware of it.
Okay.
Not that Tucker's aware of my opinions on it or cares. Yeah. But Tucker and I have always been fair weather friends, okay?
Okay.
But Bannon is my spirit animal until I found out he was in the Epstein files, and I was like, Okay, so this is General Raisin Kane right out of Central Casting telling us exactly what it took to accomplish all of our military objectives.
Along the way, we consumed more than 6 million meals, and by my estimate, more than 950,000 gallons of coffee, 2 million energy drinks, and a lot of nicotine, but I am not saying that we have a problem. I've laid out the statistics, but it does not truly capture the nature of combat. This is gritty and unforgiving business.
Yeah.
A lot of meals, a lot of coffee, a lot of energy drinks, and a lot of nicotine got the job done. Well, if that's all it takes to win a war,
maybe we should do some ads.
Yeah. Well, what do we got for coffee? Because there's going to be a whole lot of coffee on the market now that the military is not bombing Iran.
Let's see.
How great is that, man? It's so funny to me.
Oh. Well, there's a Rumble wallet. No coffee wants to be on this morning.
Oh, my goodness.
All the coffee's gone. What? Oh, wait. Blackout.
It's
not available for some reason. All right. Well, we can do a Rebel wallet if you want.
Always a good one.
Because, crypto's on the rise.
Yes, it is.
So I wish I'd bought some yesterday, but they can cancel your accounts, freeze your cards, decide what you're allowed to buy or say or support. Big banks and financial institutions have total control, and they use it. That's why financial independence matters more now than ever. Introducing Rumble Wallet, a wallet built for real freedom. With Rumble Wallet, you control your money, not a bank, not a government, not a tech company. Buy digital assets like Tether Gold, and Bitcoin in one secure place. No permission, no middleman, no cancel button. And when you want to support the creators you actually believe in, you can use the Rumble Wallet app to directly tip content creators securely, instantly, and without interference. This isn't a credit line they can shut off. It's your wallet permanently. Yours to protect your future, yours to protect your family. When the system fails, when institutions turn on their own people, financial sovereignty is the difference between security and vulnerability. Rumble Wallet isn't about politics, it's about freedom, ownership, and protecting what's yours. So take control today. Download the Rumble Wallet now and step away from the big banks for good. True ownership, true protection, true financial freedom. Pew.
Boom. Awesome. Okay, so one of the other things that was constantly circling on the internet was Iran attacking American battleships. And in the very beginning of the conflict, there were actual AI videos that actually fooled some of these reporting companies around the world. The battleship went down. Oh, battleship went down. And then immediately, no, it wasn't. That was an AI video. So they were doing that. And their big objective was they wanted to sink something of the United States, and they were unable to do it.
Stockpiles depleted and decimated and almost completely ineffective. Iran shot hundreds and hundreds of missiles and one-way attack drones at our aircraft carrier. They were obsessed with it, and they never got even close. Every single one of those shots easily shot down miles and miles away from the Abe Lincoln. They were blowing ammo into Fantasyland. Contrast that with, most significantly, in last night's wave of more than 800 strikes, we finished completely destroying Iran's defense industrial base, a core pillar of our mission objective. What little they have left buried in bunkers is all they will have. They can still shoot, we know that. Their command and control is so decimated they can't really talk and coordinate, so they still may shoot here and there, but that would be very, very unwise. But they can no longer build missiles, build rockets, build launchers, or build UAVs. Their factories have been razed to the ground.
So that's where they were at. We were still bombing them all day yesterday, finishing off the original objectives that Trump set. So that's the thing you have to put from the moment we started bombing. Yesterday was the end of the campaign. From the moment we started bombing to yesterday was the end of the scheduled campaign. Trump gave them till the end of our campaign to capitulate and surrender. And guess what? They did. And they probably tried multiple times up until yesterday, which means all the world is a stage and we're the actors on it. And Trump acted that out perfectly. Oh, we'll go, we'll come, we'll stay, we'll go. Oh, the Strait of Hormuz. Oh, no.
Fooled me.
And then all of a sudden, by this date, either they give up or not. They gave up a long time ago. They've been desperately firing machine guns from the Strait of Hormuz and AI videos of mine layers and, a lot of psyops happening all over the place. But at the end of the day, Pete Hegseth just said it. We hit the last one yesterday night, and that was the end of our campaign. And guess what? Today, sail freely, my friends. Let's go. All the world is a stage, and we're just actors in it. And Trump played us all, from beginning to end. He played everybody. He filtered out who his supporters are, who his haters are. I mean, holy cow, what a journey. Venezuela in January, Iran in February, and here we are in April. Guess Cuba's next. Who knows? Maybe by Christmas we'll be in Beijing, Ron. Who knows? Maybe by Christmas we'll be in Beijing. Oh, my goodness. Todd Blanche had a press conference yesterday, and I just get this sickness in my stomach with Todd Blanche. He just drives me crazy. For those of you who don't know who he is, he was the Deputy Attorney General under Pam Bondi. He basically took over the DOJ. Pam Bondi continued to live in Florida while she was Attorney General. And she seemed to be more of a high-level top-line person, and she'd get fed her lines. I have the Epstein list on my desk. No, you don't. You know what I mean? And Todd Blanche was Trump's attorney in his trial in New York, registered Democrat, part of kind of that attorney cabal swamp. But he took the Trump client, kind of saw up front that New York case, that was the one he was involved in with Stormy Daniels, which from an honest position, a lot of people like Jonathan Turley and Ticklin and many others criticized Todd Blanche for not saying like, why is Stormy Daniels testifying about her sexual relationship in a documents case over payments? It should all be, you know what I mean? Like, he allowed some things to happen as a defense attorney that baffled some other attorneys because he probably wasn't necessarily pro-Trump. But as Ticklin explains, as a defense attorney, and you have someone on defense for prison, you develop this kind of neat relationship. I have the same thing with my attorney, right? The attorney I had, he's a Bernie Sanders supporter. We probably very much differ ideologically, except on some core issues. And I consider him a friend. He stood by me. He sat by me. He was nice. You know what I mean? So we might have completely different opinions policy-wise, but he defended me. Like there's an element of like trust that develops. So Todd Blanche got rewarded by becoming the Deputy Attorney General. And according to Ticklin and others, he's blocked the J6 settlements. He's basically completely neutered Ed Martin and the weaponization group. He blocked the Schiff mortgage fraud case. He blocked the Letitia James mortgage fraud case, and he sabotaged multiple cases. So this is what's coming out of the DOJ. That's the rumor. But all of a sudden now he's the acting Attorney General. So he has this press conference yesterday. And he's not dumb. I mean, he's not on Donald Trump's side. It just kind of makes you question, where do you put your values, right? You talk about weaponization of government, but you shut down the weaponization working group and you shut down settlements for J6ers and stuff like that. So it's like, oh, is it just when it's weaponized against your policy agenda? And, you know, like what's the game here? So he gets asked about, you know, Donald Trump says he was indicted 4 times and actually, which let me make sure I got the right one here. Oh, they talk about a firewall between he gets asked about traditionally ever since Watergate, there's been a firewall between the White House and the Department of Justice. And this has been something that you hear over and over, the independence of the Department of Justice. And Todd Blanche just blows a hole through this.
But what if the White House or somebody in the White House says, we want you to investigate this state or this program? I mean, how do you handle that? Because historically, as you know, since Watergate, there's been a kind of a firewall, if you will, on criminal investigations between the White House and the Justice Department.
I mean, that is the most false statement I've ever heard in my life. There is always communication between a president and his priorities and what the Department of Justice should be focused on and not focused on. That is not a new thing in this administration, although I know it sounds fun to say that it is. So as far as whether we would take a referral from the White House or take a referral from you even, yes. I mean, yes, if somebody knows about fraud, please tell us. And so if the president of our United States says, I have heard that there is ongoing fraud in Minneapolis, Minnesota, like any president before him, I hope that the Attorney General would absolutely say, yes, we'll investigate that. All right.
So the reason I think Todd is kind of like a deep state rhino actor here is because he's making the entire focus of the Department of Justice now for the foreseeable future on fraud. Everybody agrees fraud's bad. Everybody agrees. But why not election fraud? Why not the Russiagate fraud? Oh, we're going to go after the Somalis. We're going to go after the hospice care centers. Do it all. You should be doing it anyways. Why weren't we doing it before? Right? That's the obvious stuff. Instead of going after the big players, what you're going to see here is you're going to see 8,000 cases against what would otherwise be the small guys. Okay. Now, all of them committed fraud. So your day is coming, but not the people who enabled the fraud.
Department of Justice investigators and prosecutors work to punish those who commit fraud. For example, just this week, and it's only Tuesday, a criminal defendant was sentenced and the department obtained 2 additional guilty pleas in matters totaling over $500 million in healthcare and COVID fraud.
Awesome.
If you think about that, just since yesterday, we had a guilty plea in a $160 million healthcare enrollment fraud scheme and a sentencing in a $100 million COVID-19 fraud and a guilty plea in a $160 million healthcare fraud scheme as well. Each of these cases represents countless hours of dedication from the prosecutors and the federal agents and local law enforcement who work them.
Sounds like we're done.
The Department of Justice is holding criminals accountable for stealing over $500 million from taxpayers.
What about the election?
And across our U.S. attorney's offices all over this country, we currently have over 8,000 fraud matters underway.
But none for the Epstein co-conspirators.
Unfortunately, as you've heard a lot about recently, because it's true, these cases represent a fraction of the fraud ripping off our country every day.
Because we're ignoring that.
Thanks to the leadership of President Trump, this department, working closely with the task force to eliminate fraud, is supercharging efforts to take down every fraudster and bring them to justice every day.
So you're weaponizing government against the fraudsters and not the people who perpetuate the fraud? Again, yeah, should be doing it. Should be going after fraud. That should be like a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. He was also asked, and this is really, this is the truth about the weaponized government. And he rails on the reporters. Listen to this. This is good.
That is supposedly that when we talk about ending weaponization, as if that's a bad thing for us to do. Okay. People in this room for 4 years, some of you, the same people, sat here with the last administration when you saw a weaponization of this department, the likes of which had never been seen in history. And some of you are looking down now, and I get it, because you had a president who was indicted 4 times by this department. You had a president who along with this department had assistance. So this department helped 2 other local DAs go after the president. You had this department who stood idly by while states tried to keep President Trump off the ballot. That's what happened the past 4 years. And so when I'm asked questions or when I see reporting about shock and awe at this supposed weaponization of this Department of Justice, it means nothing to me because it's completely false. What we're doing and what we've been doing for the past 14 months is changing this department. We're no longer, people say the president wants to go after his political enemies. No, the president has said time and time again that he wants justice. And if you look at what happened to him, his family, his administration, the agents that protected him, people that happened to just walk by him on a given day, they got subjected to massive investigations by this department. So I understand the question.
And he forgets January 6th. He still, out of his own words, called the Catholic parents that show up at school boards and stuff like that, called them terrorists.
Oh, boy.
So do you notice how it's all about Trump's circle and not about everyone else? He's still going to target them. He's still going to target Catholic parents. He's still going to target, Christian nonprofits. He's still going to target all of that stuff. It's just about Trump's little inner circle. That's what I think Todd Blanche is doing. Is it's like, well, yeah, I mean, if you were involved in the Trump campaign, that's political. But yes, no, we definitely don't want Americans speaking up against their government. That's what I'm worried about with Todd Blanche.
And I understand the pretty constant role of the media that somehow this department is weaponizing itself, but it happens not to be true. We have tens of thousands of prosecutors all over this country putting bad guys in jail. Okay, that's something that wasn't happening like it should have been happening for the past 4 years. That's going to happen tomorrow, and it's going to happen in the coming days.
Okay, great. I wonder who the next.
They're going to put people in jail, but are they going to put the right people in jail? Are they going to even worry about the right people?
I don't know. Then he also said this. This was like, I don't know, lies, or maybe this is the truth. Why did Pam Bondi get fired?
And tomorrow, and it's going to happen in the coming days.
Would you say Bondi lost her job, though, because she was not successful in that pursuit?
You read the same exact communication from the president that I did. Pam Bondi is a trusted friend of President Trump's, will remain so. And no, nobody has any idea why the Attorney General is no longer the Attorney General and I'm the acting Attorney General, except for President Trump.
I could give you a couple of reasons. I think these guys honestly are retarded. Like, I think they don't have mirrors at home. They don't look in the mirror and hear their own words. Like Pam Bondi, the Epstein thing, total debacle. Total debacle. Binders. I've got the list on my desk. Client list. We're going to prosecute them. Oh, we're not prosecuting anybody. I think Todd Blanche was behind her going, you can't go after these people. We're supposed to go after Americans. We're not supposed to go after elites with 2 passports. And, like, we're not supposed to go after the people that make large political donations to PACs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he was kind of the puppet feeding her. And so he's acting like, well, I don't know why she left. The Epstein debacle is why she left. You know why else she left? No accountability for Russiagate. You know why else she left? Because Anthony Fauci hasn't been prosecuted. Hey, remember the whole saying no to the auto pen pardons and stuff? They got pardoned because they committed, say it with me, crimes.
Which one of the indictments were you most excited about?
Exactly. So when you get rid of the auto pen pardons, how about the J6 committee? Okay. As soon as you said these pardons are done, you should have indicted them the next day.
Uh-huh.
And then, they're going to sue and go to the court and decide if the pardon's valid or not. Fine. Where are the indictments? We're moving on. Why do we keep moving on from existential threats to the United States, like psyops over COVID or stolen 2020 elections and machine fraud and overprinted ballots and Russia?
Taylor, we're going to the backside of the moon. Chill out.
Chill out, bro. Yeah. Don't you know? We're going to go find out if the moon is full of cheese. Now, on another
I'm just going to throw this out there. I shouldn't do this because this is bad for me because there's no upside. But I'm just going to throw this out there. How many people think that the Artemis mission is just bullshit and it's just a movie? Oh, well, you had to think about it. You had to think about it for a second.
So I was sitting with a pretty good friend last weekend, and we were talking about flat Earth. Now,
okay,
I just for full transparency, I'm not a flat earther.
Okay,
I am not a flat earther.
I'm not either.
I'm not. I think that the Earth is observably flat, but I do think it's round, and I think we are way smaller on it than we perceive ourselves. Our brain is way bigger than our actual presence on the planet. Right?
Okay.
So, like, the drive that I take from here to my house 150 years ago was a 2-day trip.
Yeah.
We're way smaller than we think. The wheel did a lot for us, and the motorized engine did more. And jet engines completely distort how big this planet is.
When we get our plasma drives, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. When you can go in an hour in a jet, what used to take you an entire year of horse travel, as Trump said, the Earth is a lot bigger than you think. Like air travel and that kind of thing has completely made us feel like the Earth is small. So I do think it's round. I think that you're not going to get it all in one picture. I think there are some technical challenges in space that are kind of weird, like the Van Allen.
For most people's lives, it doesn't even matter if it's flat around.
And the way vision works is, you can take a hot air balloon as high as you want. You will never see the curve of the Earth. You can't. Right? All you're going to see is a flat plane all around you. So it's always going to be observably flat, which is why any direction you fly, you just fly straight. So now I'm sure Carlitz has way more science behind it. That's my belief. So to me, I'm like, it's flat to me, but it's round to God. That's kind of my take on it.
I like this one. Carlitz, team player 1 thinks Artemis mission is amazing. Carlitz says it's nonsense.
Team player 1. He separated the 2 brains here. I love it. I love it so much, Carlitz. We got to make a hat, the t-shirt. We got to get them on mass production. Okay. So I was talking to him and just kind of mentioning it. And he says to me, dead serious, he goes, I'm 60-40. And I was like, that's pretty good. Now, I didn't ask him which one was 60 and which one was 40. I went into, I have a military friend, a couple of them that have explained this to me, how there's standard operating procedure, which is all the physics and, Corvallis effect for bullets and artillery and stuff. And then there's AOC, accepted operating procedure, or AOP, accepted operating procedure, shoot in a straight line. Like, calculate for windage and that's it. You don't calculate for the Earth's spin. So there's what the scientists told the military would be the targeting for the artillery. And then when they went and put it into practice, they kept missing targets. So then they just adjusted it to accepted operating procedure. And the next paragraph down, shoot in a straight line, adjust for wind.
Shoot at the thing you can see.
Shoot at the thing you can see. Okay, so yesterday, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who actively campaigned against Clayton Fuller in her former district, actively campaigned against him. I don't know that she so far as went as campaigned for Sean Harris, the Democrat challenger, but she pretty actively campaigned against Clayton Fuller. Clayton Fuller got Trump's endorsement, and last
14th Congressional District of Georgia, the NBC News decision desk has declared that Republican Clayton Fuller has been elected to the House of Representatives. He will replace former Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who resigned this seat in January. Fuller defeating the Democratic candidate Sean Harris here. And again, you can see with just under 50% of the vote in, that Fuller margin climbing. So the reason that check mark just appeared on your screen is exactly what we were telling you. It's because of those numbers. It's because of it's because of 41. It's because of 39. It's because of 51. Our decision desk wanted to make sure that that historical pattern of Republicans doing much better with the election day vote was still holding. It's holding in a very big way here. And so no sweat for Fuller. He's going to win this thing, and you're going to watch as the rest of these votes come in here. The question is all going to be about that margin.
Who cares about the margin?
So is Trump's endorsement gold, or should we be thanking Smartmatic and Dominion? Or
I think in that one, that is an unlosable seat for Democrats.
There we go.
They couldn't flip it if they wanted to.
Yeah,
that's my thought on that. Monty Easel says, I'm flying to Florida next week. I'm glad you're not driving, Monty, because yeah. Okay, so we're going to head out on Public Today. Okay. This is a commercial that Coinbase ran last year. And if you can answer this question, then you know why you need to do something differently with your financial outlook. Okay. And when we get into private, we're going to go a little bit into the details of why this is. But if you can answer this question, you'll get it. Okay.
In 2012, you'd need 30,000 Bitcoin to buy this house. A decade later, it had only cost you 20 Bitcoin. And today, it could be yours for 5. If home prices keep falling in Bitcoin, why do they keep rising in dollars?
Oh, man.
I was explaining to my wife that deflation is the natural way of things, but yet we live in a world of manufactured inflation. There's your answer right there. Okay, guys, we're going to be jumping over into private. I know it was a little bit shorter show today by a little bit. My wife's got some appointments we have to get her to. So we'll talk to you again tomorrow. Oh, by the way, before we go, on Friday, let all of your friends know. We're going to have a little bit of a late show on Friday, but on Friday, we're having the Election Integrity Project on. Oh. We're going to be having them on. So I'm super excited about that. That's going to be great. So please, please, please let people know. We're probably going to be a little bit like 9 a.m. Pacific that he's going to be on, but that's going to be great. So we're super excited for that. Okay. Talk to you again.